literally. So I come from India, and I moved away from home, I think almost 20 years ago. So it's a really, really long time. And I don't have a tech background either. And so I went to college, as you do in India. And I always said I got my education when I came to the UK and I went to college because the situation was pretty dire back then. It's getting worse now. And so I did my bachelor's degree in business and communication studies, and after that I went back home to India, and I had absolutely no idea what I wanted to do with my life, and so I decided to get into advertising, as you do, right? And I was selling bleach. It's just amazing. Bleach and Pepsi Cola and SIM cards to people and everything as non-tech related as possible. But even at that time, I just did not understand the meaning of no, or you couldn't do it. And I was actually really lucky because I come from a family of entrepreneurs, and everybody is in the capacitor manufacturing business, and I just did not want to have anything to do with that. And then I escaped as fast as I could. And then I met my husband at the time and moved to Paris. I couldn't speak a word of French, of course. I mean, why would you, right? And so then I was working in advertising, living in the country. I couldn't speak the language, so how do you get a job? And so then I decided, okay, one thing is to learn French, and the other thing is to just figure something else out. So I trained as an English teacher, and then I went to all these different companies, and I would be sitting there, talking to people about their jobs, and basically telling them how I would do their job, and this and that. Never taught anybody anything, and I hated every second of it. Then we moved to Germany, my husband and I at the time, and then I started working for an agency called Pepper, and there my first client was actually HP, and that was my first brush with pure tech, so to speak. And I actually found I really, really enjoyed it, and but I was embarrassed to tell people I really enjoyed it. And after that I was made redundant, as with most agencies at the time, and I moved to Dubai. And there I worked for another agency, and it was for an American brand called Clorox. And this time I was selling window cleaners. It just gets better and better for me. And then my husband and I decided to separate, and then he said, you come to the UK and we try to figure it out. And I came here. And it was really bizarre because here I was, loads and loads of work experience, lived in so many different countries, and by that time I could actually speak French. So I was speaking, multiple languages as well. And then there was this thing about how you had to have UK experience. And I said, what the heck is UK experience, right? And they're like, no, you just have to work for somebody here. So I said, even a shoe shop, does that count? They're like, yeah, UK experience. Anyway, whatever, long story short. I applied to Nokia. And I never imagined that I would get that job. And talking about serendipity, the person who decided to open their email that day and pick out my resume was somebody I had known from India. I mean, how random is that? And it was an agency that I worked for in India. And he said, we never ever do that. And I don't know what occurred to me to actually check your resume, because everything actually comes through HR. So it is about actually those moments. And he said, but we don't have anything on offer. But you can come and we can have a chat, and then we see how things go. And this wasn't fun for us, so I just, I'm going. We went, we had a chat, everything's great. 10 days later I get a call saying, do you want to come in and speak to this lady? And then, maybe it'll go from there. And I got a job. It was really quite simple. And that's when I think my career really began, because I was doing all this incredible stuff, and before that I also had a little stint with De Beers and Diamonds, right? How boring is that? Honestly. So then with Nokia, it was selling the mobile devices to everybody across the world, suddenly thrown into this environment where you had people from so many different cultures. And funnily enough, I didn't know any people in the UK, but 7 years hence, all the people that I work with are the only friends I have here. Because it was a journey for everybody. And I think that's when it was a time when we first discovered something called maps on a phone. We're talking, almost 7 years ago. And it was unheard of. People always said, why would anybody want a map on a phone? I can just stop somebody and ask on the street. And then we had those books. I'm telling you, that's my age, right? Whatever. And so it was just wonderful. And for me, what was so fantastic was the fact that technology was such a massive enabler. You had these people. We were selling something called Nokia Live Services, where people could check the crop prices in different villages, and that would change their lives. And I saw it happening in front of me. And our theme was connecting people. So I met my second husband in Nokia, as you do. We connected really well. And then I got in, and we used to get reorged every single year because that's just corporates for you, right? I mean, how else do you keep McKinsey in business? And every single year it was the same damn thing. And every single year you were fighting for your job. And it did not occur to me at the time, because I was just so naive, I really was, that it was always a boys' club, all boys' club, always. And it was always us women who were on the fringes. And I never thought about it at the time, because it was just normal, That's just how it was. That was the life you lived in. And it was always said to me that that's your choice, right? You take it or you lump it. You don't like it, there's the door. So you make the most of it. And there was always this token woman in leadership, so that you take that box. That's it. That was just how it was. That was the world we grew up in. And then I worked for Microsoft, and I was always flying up and down to Seattle, as you do. And when I was 7 months pregnant with my second child, I was made redundant. And I don't know, I wouldn't say it was because I was pregnant, it was because, we screwed up, simple as that. Nokia wasn't able to turn over a profit. They shut shop in London. Some of us couldn't move to Seattle. And so you suddenly were left there figuring out what to do. And I was completely institutionalized. 11 years, never knew anything but corporate life. Used to staying at the Hilton, flying business class, and suddenly you have to go to EasyJet. Oh my God. My joke was how the mighty have fallen. Really. And then, funnily, that's actually how I met Myra during this time, because I suddenly had to figure out what to do. And I was working in a design agency. I didn't know anything about tech. I had nothing to do with the financial services, did not understand them. I lived in London. I mean, what are my chances, right? And I didn't want to work for an agency either. So suddenly there you are, and you have to suddenly figure out what to do, and nobody wants to talk to you, and I discovered something called a startup. I was like, wow, this sounds pretty cool. What is a startup? And everyone was always talking about operating as a startup in the corporate world, and the whole world had, an incubator. It was like social media back in the day when everyone had to have a strategy or whatever. And so I decided to get a job as I can't even remember now, something to do with innovation in startups. So I read the Lean Startup. Everyone reads the Lean Startup. And I went for this interview, and the person sitting across the table was quoting Lean Startup to me, and I was quoting Lean Startup back at him. Because neither of us had a clue what a startup was, right? Then we went away, and then I started thinking about, okay, what the heck can I do now? And I went for a hackathon, and it was horrific. Horrific, because I was too old to sleep on, floors with...
I refused to go.
Me too. But I went. That's the difference. And, yeah. And then I started my company, and it was hard. It was really, really hard. But I think the difference was because I really didn't know any better. I just walk in there, do my thing, say what I had to say, and tough. People didn't like it, well, too bad. And oftentimes, I work in the automotive industry, so which means there are seas of doctors as far as you can see, because it's Germany. And they're all male, and they're all wearing grey, and it's great. And you know why? Because I stand out. So I milk it, and why the hell not, right? We're blessed to be women. We should be making the most of it. Because most of the time, if you're a woman and you're smart, you got them. You don't have to actually try as hard anymore. Honestly. So for me, I think it's fantastic. If it's anything else, it's the other way around. I use them. It's great. And I really think, I'm not somebody who's going to sit here and say, sad, we're women, boo-hoo. I think for us, we have to embrace it and make the most of it. Because what we have is that we walk into a room and people look at us. Now it's up to us to do something with that. You can either be offended or just milk it. For me, I do the milking part, and it's great.